Hello and welcome to the Real Exes of Portland podcast, coming to you from Portland, Oregon. I'm Heather.
I'm Sofie.
And I'm Amy.
And we are real women, real friends with real stories.
That are super juicy.
And I might add, real boobs. And we would love for you to follow us on Instagram at The Real Exes Portland. And we will be hanging out with you guys every Wednesday afternoon.
And you know what Wednesday is?
Wine Wednesday.
Cheers.
Hey guys. Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever time you're listening. Welcome back. We love having you. Thank you. I'm struggling with the intro here. Can you tell? Anyway,
You should be better. You should be good at this. This is only like 16 or 17 times you've done it.
I am a professional. I am a professional. What am I doing? Anyways, thanks for coming back and listening, guys. We have first of all, I'm being gestured. Cheers. Happy Wine Wednesday. Hopefully everyone is listening after work and they have their wine, because we have a super fun episode today. We are going to be... I'm getting lots of weird looks, just so you guys know. Anyways, Amy, we're going to continue our historical history lessons here. And you've heard from Sofie, you've heard from me, and today we are going to hear from Amy and hear about all about her childhood and her background and her heritage and what kind of a mutt she is. So, Amy, take it away.
Sounds like a cat now.
Her bark has gone downhill.
I know what happened.
Okay, Benny.
Oh, that's my dog. I'm mimicking my own little,
Yes.
my little 10-pounder. He's a yelper, yapper.
Yeah,
he's a
he's
little
a
yapper.
High pitch.
High pitch. Oh,
Yeah.
all right. That's enough about that.
I'm going to spend a weekend with him. I'm going to shape him up.
You need to shape him up. He needs a lot of.
You want to come to
shape.
my house next?
No.
Yeah, she has a little dog. Amy has a little dog too.
Ender, yeah.
Okay. All right,
Let's
Amy, take
see.
it away.
Well, I don't know exactly all the heritage pieces. I really want to take the test. I grew up knowing that my mom's side of the family is more German, and I think pretty strong German, actually, which my grandmother, my mom's mom, she was this sweet lady, but she was kind of like a more stern grandma, not quite so fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad's side of the family, I know, like there have been multiple family trees done. So there are other family members who know like all the details. But I believe that family originated around like Italy, Spain, that area, and then eventually went to Mexico. And then my dad's dad was born in Mexico, and then he eventually moved up to...
So your dad's dad, so his grandfather.
His grandfather, yes.
So what year would that have been?
I don't know. I'm horrible at dates. I do know my great-grandmother, my dad's grandma, she didn't speak any English. She only spoke Spanish, and... She was like 4 foot something. She was so short, and I only remember her a few times, but if like glances could kill,
Yeah.
that's what she was. But she was around a lot of boys and men as well, so she was pretty stern, but she didn't say a whole lot, and she had if I remember right, she wasn't ever going to speak English, and she wasn't going to ever try,
And where did she live? Did she live in California or
she
in
lived in Mexico.
Oh, it's still in Mexico.
Mhm.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So there wouldn't be any reason to learn English.
Yeah, not so much, other than the family in California was speaking English. So, so it's kind of interesting when my dad's dad moved into California, which I'm not entirely sure when that was exactly. But I believe he was younger, but I don't know. I'll have to check on these things. But we were Mexican. However, there is like this whole culture in Mexico that you either are going to be kind of like embedded in Mexico and your culture, or you want something more for your family. And my dad's side of the family, or at least my grandfather, wanted something more, and that's why they moved into California. And lots of traditions were lost. So not the tradition of like family and big gatherings, because I mean they're ginormous, but all the other cultural pieces, a lot of that was lost. And my sisters and I are just now like kind of relearning about our past and all the things that like we missed out. And we are kind of sad about those things because we didn't experience like the true like Mexican culture stuff. So, but my dad's mom, I think my dad's mom's family may have been from Germany as well. I don't know a ton of like heritage stuff, but I actually did have relationships with all of my great grandmothers.
Oh.
So they were all around when I was young. I remember all of them. I remember family interactions. My dad's mother's family was from Michigan, and lots of them still live in Michigan. And then obviously my dad's side of the family is Mexico and California, and most of them still live in California, and then just a few live here in Oregon. And then my mom's side of the family, my mom has like this small little family, and they are here in I don't know where one of them is, but my mom has a couple sisters, and they're from here. So my mom was born and raised in Oregon. Mm-hmm. And so she's a local. I'm a local, yes. My dad has 2 older siblings and then a younger brother that's 11 months younger than my dad. And my dad's older brother, I think they're about 9 years apart. Mm-hmm. He was, I'm having a brain fart. He was in...
Join the club.
Oh, he was in Vietnam, and he got injured. And he came home from Vietnam and then got married. And he and his wife moved to St. Helens. And my dad was still living in California, and he wanted to see my uncle and his wife. And so he drove up here from LA to St. Helens. And on the way into Oregon, my dad's car broke down. And so he had to get a job in Portland to buy the parts to then drive back home. And my mom worked at the Portland JCPenney's at the time in the jewelry department. And when my dad got a job to pay for the parts for his vehicle, he got a job in the sporting goods section. And so that's how my parents met, was at the Portland JCPenney's.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and they met, they knew of each other. I think my dad said that, you know, he liked her from the very beginning, but my mom she wasn't playing too hard to get, but my mom knew exactly what she wanted, and she wasn't going to play games. So
she no mess around.
No, she's not messing around. They eventually started getting to know each other and dating. I think they dated for like a year and then got engaged. And I think they got married maybe a year later.
How old were they?
I believe 20 and 21.
Yeah, let's hope my parents were.
And then my mom had me at 23, 22, 23, something like that, just a couple of years later. And then I'm the oldest of 4 girls, and we are all 2 years apart. We're actually two of us. So my sister Christy is 2 years younger than me. She and I actually both had the same due date, but 2 years apart. And my sister Katie and Lacey, they actually had the same due date, 2 years apart.
Whoa.
My mom is the oldest of 4. 3 out of the 4 were naturally born in different years on the same day.
What?
That's crazy.
And the world record, I think, was 4 when I checked, long time ago. But my mom was born on November 9th. Her sister, the next sister, Dorothy, she was born in March 22nd, I think it was. And then Ada was born on November 9th, and Sonia was born on November 9th.
Oh my gosh. That's
Natural
crazy.
birth.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, we know when she was fertile.
I know. Well, we know when my grandfather, if you do it, I was like, I think it was near his birthday.
That's hilarious. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh, no.
That's awesome. Yeah, nope, we're 2 years apart. We grew up, so my parents, when they were first married, lived in Gladstone in a little apartment, and actually quite a few friends or family relatives actually lived in those apartments. And a couple years later, my dad worked for a construction drywall company, and they built some houses out in Oregon City, but in Beaver Creek, which is, most people don't know where Beaver Creek is, but they know where Molalla is, and it's close to Molalla and Woodburn. So, and it was in the neighborhood, like kind of what you were sharing, the typical neighborhood, outings, riding your bike and hanging out at friends' houses and things like that. I went to a little country elementary school called Karis.
Like a one-room schoolhouse. You're not that old.
Not quite like that. But that school, the original school, was a one-room schoolhouse. Cool. It was on the property. And it was from like 1920 or something. And my ex-husband's grandmother used to be a teacher there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so I went to this little elementary school out there. I liked living out in the country, but I liked having neighbors and friends. I actually have a few girlfriends that I met out there. There were 2 twins, Joanne and Jennifer, and we were inseparable. And they lived on a little piece of property, and they had it was out in the country, and it was full of like all kinds of trees and forestry stuff, and you heard all kinds of noises. So, kids in their imaginations, we didn't necessarily, ours or maybe theirs, I don't know, a combination of the 3 of us was like, there was this street next to their house, and a gentleman had been driving, and I think he was drunk, and he hit a tree and he died. Oh my. And so off that street, all the older kids were like, oh, there's ghosts and things like ghosts from, people from past. And the guy who died there, he came up as a ghost, and he would wander the woods. And so their backyard was in that woods. And so we would go out and we would have like our flashlight hunting for these like ghosts and weird things. And I don't know, I had a really fun childhood out there. Oh, there he goes.
Oh, you got a haircut, Bruno. Hi.
We lived in a small house, though, for 6 of us. I believe it was about 1,100 square feet.
Man.
Wow. No more than 12. Mm-hmm. We had a nice, huge backyard, but a small little house for all of us. Each of us shared a bedroom with a sibling. So Christy and I always shared a room until I went to college or moved out. And Katie and Lacey always mostly shared a room. And then kindergarten through 5th grade, I was at the elementary school out in Oregon City. And then my parents told all of us girls we were moving. And we were moving quite far for us.
Yeah.
We were huge and very active in our church. And we were going to our church. So we lived in Oregon City. Our church was in Tualatin. It was about a 45-minute drive, and we were going out there like 3 or 4 times a week.
Oh, wow.
So then my my mom's dad built a house in Tualatin in the country. And there was a house for rent 2 houses up from where my grandmother lived. And it was like 2,500 square feet on 3 acres, 3.5 acres.
Wow.
And it was, their rent back then was $600.
Oh my Lord.
And so we moved from Oregon City into Tualatin, and our house was actually on the border of Tualatin and West Lynn. So because my mom grew up going to West Lynn schools, we were grandfathered into West Lynn schools. So I went to middle school my 6th grade year at Willamette, which is in West Lynn, Willamette. But now that school is an elementary school. Mm-hmm. And then I was actually homeschooled my 7th and 8th grade year.
With the rest of your siblings?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Why were you
I
guys
didn't know they did that way back then. No, just kidding.
We were homeschooled because my parents weren't keen about the school system, and like everything that we were learning, my mom just wasn't fond of the curriculum. And
so were you the only one that was 2 years, or did all of you do 2 years?
Nope, I was the only one with 2 years. It was my mom homeschooled until high school. And we played sports in the community. Like, we did everything. We were very, very social. We were just homeschooled. And actually, some of us took classes at the local middle school. So I was homeschooled 7th grade and 8th grade, and then went to Westland High School. And then my siblings were homeschooled until they hit high school.
Wow.
And then jumped up from there. And
So your youngest was in homeschool for most of her...
Yeah, a good portion, 6 years. And the fun part of that is that we got all the social stuff because we're still going to church 3 or 4 times a week. And then all my siblings were playing sports at the time. I didn't play sports really until high school. And I had a thought and it just went out the window. Gosh darn.
Well, I thought of something I can say. Sorry. I'll clear up some dead space here. Or, I mean, fill up. I just remembered, as far as sports, I did gymnastics. Sorry, I have to interject that. I forgot. I'm like, shit, did I not do anything?
No, you did
And I
something.
thought of another trauma experience, too, and it was about swimming, but we can talk about that another time.
It has showers in it? Is something to do with showers?
No.
Anyway,
I don't remember what I was going to say, but we were really inundated with all the social. Oh, the stuff that we were able to do is we were able to do more like vacations, family vacations, because when you're homeschooled, you can go anywhere at any point in time.
anytime.
And my mom was very structured because she was raising the 4 of us and she was homeschooling us. And then my mom also ran a daycare from home.
Oh,
So
my God.
my mom is very type A and she's very organized and very she was incredible as a stay-at-home mom who
That's crazy.
did tons of things. Besides the home stuff, she was very involved in church. I learned how to plan events through my mother because that's what my mom did for women's ministries. And so yeah, my mom did a lot of things. My mom was like an entrepreneur from home.
Yeah.
And that piece of being homeschooled was super fun. We our schedule for homeschooling is that we had all the subjects that you would have in normal school, and then you could finish them in however long it took you. So 2 of us, it took us all day. And the other 2, it took 3.5 hours. And
But you guys would learn different things at different pace, or how does it work? Because there's so many different grade levels.
well, yes, different. It's different. We had different curriculum for different ages. However, when you're kind of homeschooled, you can jump some of those things. So what it would take you like a year to learn in regular school, it can actually take you just several months when on your own time.
And then, did your mom have a curriculum that she was following?
Yep. She had several curriculums. So there was like curriculum for math, and it was a different curriculum for social studies.
And she would actually I'm like, I don't know anything
Yep,
about
my
homeschooling.
mom-
I can't even fathom, even though we went through COVID,
Yep.
I had no part in any education of my son during that time.
Yes.
I will admit to it.
Nope. She did. She taught everything.
Wow.
My mom was very gifted in school, and my mom did well in school. And she had a very driven mind. My mom, before she got pregnant with me, she was going to school to be a lawyer. Wow. And she was very good at that kind of thinking. And tried to finish school, but then was so sick with morning sickness, she couldn't finish. So,
Amy.
yeah, I put a damper in things. And then we were homeschooled, and then I went into regular high school. For me was 9th through 12th, and went to Westland High School. I loved high school. High school was huge for me, not school, because I had a very difficult time in school. I'm lucky I graduated, but thankful to my dad, who requires very little sleep. He would stay until like 1:30 or 2 o'clock in the morning while I finished my homework and help me through homework, and then would get up at 5 or 4:30 to get ready for work. And I took an early class, so I caught the bus. Christy and I caught the bus at 5:30 in the morning. I took a dance class, and because we lived a little bit, further away from the high school, our morning class bus ride was over an hour long.
Oh my God.
And
was it a public school bus or?
Yeah, it was a public school bus. And I get horribly car sick or bus sick. So I took a dance class in the morning. So I'd just show up in like my leotard, my sweatshirt, and then I would take my backpack and put it like a pillow and try to sleep as much as I could on the bus.
Oh, wow.
And then I got to class just before 7, just before my class. And that's what I did. She and I both did it all 4 years.
So was it weird going from homeschooling? No?
It wasn't, because we were so all of my sisters played softball and volleyball. My parents were coaches and refs. So we were hardly ever home.
Oh, I see.
So we were home during the day, and at night we weren't home until we got home from like some kind of sport thing. And then before being homeschooled, all those kids I went to school with, they went to Rolling Hills Church, which is where I'm from. Well, that's the church I attended for 18 years. Everybody knew. I mean, if you went to that church, you knew everybody, and everybody was inundated with sports in the city that went to the church. So, it was for me, it was pretty fluid. It was like, oh, well, I still saw those friends that I did prior to being homeschooled, so I just saw those friends when I got into high school.
That's interesting. I had the whole homeschool thing still kind of like...
It's different. Like my younger sister, Lacey, or the youngest, she homeschools all of her kids, and she is just like my mom. Like she and her husband are like miniature versions of my parents, and they just have that mindset. Whereas school was horribly difficult for me then, it hasn't changed. couldn't homeschool my kids even for the betterment of their own studies. Like I get so many other aspects out of life, but being book smart didn't come easy, and it was super hard. So the whole homeschool thing is not something I could or would sign up for.
I would never in my entire life.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's not for everybody.
I
But
couldn't. I like, you see it on TV, you see people doing it, and okay, kids, like, okay, now you guys go work on your math, and I'm like, damn.
the one thing I do
I'll be
will
like,
say,
let's watch Sesame Street.
the one thing that was helpful is I had the two of us who had a hard time in school, me very much at the top of the list, is that it gave me time to process information in school. It's like, get it done, learn this. And then, but I was so stressed by not even getting the first thing, let alone the 10 things. So having that time
was probably
good.
best for
And
you, yeah.
overall, homeschool families are, when they do testing, homeschool families are overall smarter and have higher IQs than regular public school.
I can see why. I mean, especially because you're amongst 30 kids. I mean, we were having, our class sizes were up over 30, like 33, 35.
Yep.
And I was always in a split class. So they're like grade 4 and grade 5 would be in one room, and the teacher, and it would be the kids that were in the older grades, so say they were in the 5th grade, they were kind of a little bit like borderline, like not advanced, so they weren't with the older kids, so we were with the younger kids.
Yep.
And
that's hard. That's so tough.
And then I've always had, struggles with reading and writing, and with my soon-to-be diagnosed dyslexia, it kind of, it leaves it to be almost impossible. Obviously, it's possible because we all, graduated, but it makes it so difficult. So there was so much.
Yeah.
Like, I could not read a book for the life of me. Yeah. Couldn't stay interested. Had a hard time understanding. It's just
so those little like those pieces.
Yeah,
of
I could see how
homeschool was really good because you have the time, and then when you get it, then it's like smooth sailing. You have it. So and because all of us were super close, we were constantly doing camping trips and like family. Darn it, I'm just not thinking well tonight. But reunions, family reunions. Right. So family reunions on my dad's side of the family are like 70 people, and we would go camping every year between California, Idaho. We went to Wyoming one year, but we would go every single year to California, and we would go camp on the Deschutes or Metolius River, and we always did these fun things. And so, if we were lacking in some areas, like the family aspect of it, we weren't, and we're all very close today. So that was good. When I got into high school, I did play sports. I did not play real big group sports like my siblings did. I was a swimmer. So I did the swim team, and I took dance, which I had taken a little bit of dance as a child, but I did ballet and jazz and modern and African dance. And I did that through college too.
How come we never see you dance today, Amy?
Because I know, even Brian's like, you have this whole
I want to see your African dance.
I need some proof. I don't know if I believe this. No,
I don't know what they do.
Regular dance, like clubbing, is a different kind of dance. Like for me,
I'm a clubber.
That's the only kind of dance I know.
I would go to the club and hang out in the group, but I'm sorry, no part of ballet is in clubbing. No part of ballet. Oh my God, and I'm a serious person.
Do a field trip.
Oh yeah, now
I'm a good dancer. I like to.
Oh, I'm sure. Yes.
Be. I could put music on. I could.
She's got rhythm.
Yes. So
I got rhythm.
Yeah, I I like the structured dance ballet. I just like it. Yeah, I do. Yeah. And because I'm more serious, it kind of fits my personality. Yeah. Like that was kind of my, everybody has their passion and kind of what you put out into the world, and that was my thing. Nice. So,
mine's I'm too sexy.
Oh, we definitely had those like combinations of dances, but that is not what's in the front.
It's a song. I'm too sexy.
No, I know the song. I'm too sexy for my.
I almost put that in a reel recently. We got to do that now.
Okay.
But I don't know. High school was super fun for me. I did take a lot of. I wasn't super great at biology, but I took marine biology and oceanography because I was going to be a marine biologist.
Oh, yeah, I remember you saying that.
And then
pardon me,
I didn't become one, but I went to prom on my senior. I had a college boyfriend.
Oh, he was in college.
He was in college. Oh. And actually, my mom and I were just talking about this week because I met him when I was 15, which is Isabel's going to be my daughter's age.
You would never put up with that right now. If she was dating a college guy, what the?
We couldn't.
He was in college when you were 15 years old?
Yeah, but we couldn't individual date. I had to go on group dates with my two double Laura friends.
There's a legal term for this.
Yeah. I was probably more like 15 and a half when we met. But I mean, we couldn't be alone. Like my parents had real strict rules. We had to be group date. And my girlfriends, okay, you guys have, or at least you've met my dad. Most people just don't mess with my dad.
No.
Including, this is funny. So my 6th grade year, all of us girls are going to our first, high school dance. And my dad looked at me and he was like, no dancing with boys. And my girlfriends were with me. And he looked at them and he was like, she is not allowed to dance with a boy. Don't let her dance with a boy. So we get to this school and we're dancing. And there's a couple guys. And I'm actually very shy, very quiet, didn't really talk a whole lot, but I don't know, there was this fun guy and he was kind of jiving with us, and I kind of walked over and was dancing a little bit, and both my friends, no joke, they kind of like pulled me on the back of my shirt and they were like, remember what your dad said. We're not, you have to follow the rules. We're not gonna, we're not gonna go down for you, basically, is what that was. We're not gonna go down for you. We're not gonna mess with your dad. But then we started dating when I was 16, and he was the sweetest first boyfriend. He was a double major and a double minor. A double major, he did chemistry and math, and a double minor of biology and something else. And he got a job just to drive home and see me. And he would write these poems, and he actually wrote them. He wrote these poems and then had them delivered to school with a flower and a balloon, like after lunch. So I had to carry them through all my classes. At the end of the day, he did that like 3 or 4 times.
I love him.
Yeah,
that is so thoughtful and cute and sweet. Oh my gosh.
He was a great first boyfriend. He was my first major kiss.
That set a good stage.
It did.
Yeah.
It was
expectations very high.
Yes.
Yeah.
All the other guys, the poor schmucks.
They couldn't compare.
Yeah.
They couldn't be schmuck.
And his parents
that's
actually.
a very good word. Schmuck.
Yeah, schmuck. Oh, that's a great one.
That was from Happy Days.
That's what I think of.
I was like schmuck.
I use schmuck actually kind of a lot at home. His parents, my mom went to school with his parents, so they kind of knew. And he was just a great first boyfriend. And high school was great. I had a great time. I didn't have a great time for grades, but the social part helped me kind of expand and start to become a little bit more social.
Were you a cheerleader?
I actually didn't become a cheerleader until college.
College
I am the
cheerleader.
high school gal that made fun of all my girlfriends who were a cheerleader in high school, and I had several. But then I got to college and tried out because why not? And
Wow. And you're tall.
yep, I was at the bottom. Always had somebody lift.
My
lifter.
sister was so petite that she was always on the top.
Yeah.
They throw her up.
I got grounded. I could not go to my cheerleading tryouts because I got grounded.
No. What'd you do, Sophie?
I stayed after school to practice, and I got home, and my mom said, "You didn't ask for permission, so you're grounded and can't go to the tryouts the next day."
I feel like I was grounded half my childhood. I was grounded a lot.
Kyle has not been grounded yet. I think he needs a grounding.
I don't think I ever grounded my daughter, actually.
I was grounded twice. I was kind of, Katie and I mean, it's just in our family, everybody knows. Katie and I, like my parents would tell us to do something and we just overall did it. And then the other two were just a little bit not that way. So Katie and I would just learn. We didn't want to get in trouble, so we just wouldn't do those things.
Right.
And so,
Smart.
but we are a little bit quieter and shyer. We're more observers. She and I are very similar, but then like Lacey and Katie are extremely similar when they're together and stuff. So it's kind of interesting how the dynamics change as you get older and
Yeah,
such.
my mom was the oldest of four sisters.
Yeah.
And it was a crazy household.
Yeah.
It was very loud.
Yeah.
Screaming.
We didn't do like we did. I would say we probably had our worst like arguments and fights when we were locked in the car when my parents were at the grocery store. I'm probably sure you've heard.
Locked in the closet. When
No,
you said,
no, nope. Locked in the car. We would get into these gnarly fights, and then by the end, we would make do because if mom and dad ever thought that there was any kind of fighting or arguing going on, they put that to rest. So
right.
we kind of make ends meet. But my dad was really good in the fact that he didn't have sons. So he taught all of us, both my parents, because my mom was all girls in her family. So her dad taught her all kind of the boy stuff. And my dad taught us like just anything you could teach a boy. We couldn't pee
fishing,
on yes, we hunted.
Peeing out in the back. Yeah.
Yeah,
I did some fishing.
Mowing the lawn.
And I also helped with like painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Moving furniture.
I did
putting
too.
up
Yep.
wallpaper.
Yep, me too. I remember
Changing
doing
the
that.
oil in a car. He taught us how to do that. He taught us how to put chains on a tire, like all of those things you
Very
would
good skills to have.
teach us.
Putting up a patio, nailing crap.
I think it's so
Like, don't hit your finger.
Oh my God.
yeah. I remember the one time, this is one of the things I super remember. I was young, like we lived in Oregon City, and my dad would chew a little beech nut when he was working in the yard, definitely never in the house. Or he'd smoke
What's
a
a
pipe.
peach? What's a
Is that
peach?
So
chew?
it's like tobacco, like chew beech
It's
nut.
B with a beach nut.
Yeah, beech nut.
not
And
peach.
I thought it was at a beach,
Oh, I
but
thought
okay.
you said peach nut.
Well, peach
No.
nut would sound even better.
it was kind of like a little tobacco, and he would chew it only when he worked out on the car or the yard. He'd smoke a pipe sometimes too, and not in the house. And I remember my dad gave me a little bit.
I was gonna ask, did you ever try it?
I was curious, and
Okay,
so he gave me a few little pieces, and I put it in my mouth, and he was like, chew on it. So I, chewed on it, and
Did you give you a buzz?
no, it didn't give me a buzz, but as I was, he was in the garage, and as I was leaving the garage, he warned me as I was swallowing. He warned me. He was like, "Don't swallow it.
no.
You have to spit it out when you get the juices flowing. You spit it out." But I was swallowing at that time, and it burns.
I
It
bet.
burns. It burns.
Okay, no, people, don't
Yes.
eat your peach or
Your
beech
peach
nut.
It burns.
Don't eat the peach nut.
Don't eat your peach nut.
Yeah, but that peach nut. Oh, someday I have to tell you peach story, but so that, yeah, I remember, you know, we tried things. Like my dad would smoke a cigar. He would let us take little puffs off of him. And, you know, it was just like a little bonding.
Amy, you're very well-rounded.
You know how to chew, smoke.
Yeah.
What else do you know to do?
Build a
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Change a tire.
Change a kid. I mean, between my mom's
name it.
daycare and my
Yeah.
dad. Yeah, no, and those were super fun times. And then I graduated from high school, and I went to Clackamas Community College. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for school. I wanted to do a lot of things, and school was hard. So I was like, oh, I'll start with community college. I danced at school, and then I was a cheerleader for the basketball team. And still continued to swim, not at the college, but just at a club level.
Yeah.
And then what?
Go ahead. No, never mind. I was just gonna say I hate getting my hair wet. I love swimming, but I hate getting my hair wet.
Oh, and that reminds me of like when we showered
Oh.
and all of us girls, we had a huge swim team, and sometimes some of the other high schools had small bathrooms, and we had such a large swim team and a girl section of the swim team. We girls would have to shower, and the boys, while they're like also showering and getting dressed. So you learn how to change underneath the towel like real quick. And yeah, and I mean the girls' room, we showered in the, you know, a big huge 20 spigot or 25 spigot shower. And nobody cared. And actually, when we would swim on the weekends, usually it was like the older males and females who would be swimming in the pool because it's really good on your, you know, on your body parts. And all the older ladies would be super, you know, in their women bodies, you know, and they wouldn't give a damn. You know, they're just, you know, it doesn't matter if you have a 5. Yeah, hanging loose. It doesn't matter if you're 5 or 20 or 50 or 60. So
Hey, don't make fun of 50-year-old.
Yeah.
I'm
talking
not.
about?
We still
I'm
got it.
not far behind. Not far behind.
Listen,
And,
sister.
yeah, that's right. And then I actually quit college. That was a hard day. I knew I was going to quit, and I knew my mom wasn't going to be happy. Like my mom she wanted big things for us.
Yeah.
And I was just having a really hard time that second year, and I wanted to go to dance school. So I quit college and went to June Taylor School of Dance. And I went to dance school for, I don't know, I want to say I got like 4 months in. And then I got real sick, something similar to mono, but I lost a lot of weight and was like, couldn't work out a whole lot, couldn't dance a lot. And I was tired of being broke. So I decided I wanted to work. I wanted some money. So I signed up with a temp agency and worked like 30 jobs so I could figure out what I wanted to do.
Try a bunch of
Yep.
different things.
I did. I went from like a t-shirt company making t-shirts to I worked for the Oregonian. That's when I worked for the
Right.
Oregonian. And I worked for lots of other businesses in between. And eventually I worked at some insurance companies, and then eventually landed a job at an oral and maxillofacial surgeon's office.
Oh, that's right. Yes, I've heard you talk
Yeah.
about that.
And then I worked there for about 4 or 5 years. And then I left there when I had Ethan. So I was single. Then Tim and I got married, and then had Ethan, and I exited that, and I was a stay-at-home mom after that.
Wow.
So
Crazy.
yeah.
No, you just never know.
No, I wanted
Twists
to
and
go
turns.
back.
Yeah.
I did want to go back. I loved oral surgery. I loved surgery. If I could get through the school part, I would have gone back and been a surgeon, because blood and guts
Whoa.
didn't bother me then. The older I'm getting,
Oh,
it does bother
little
me
more
now. But yeah, nothing. I mean, I was the mom, you know, super pregnant, would watch like the horse story, you know, deliveries. None of that bothered me.
Oh, wow.
None of it. Yeah, I could watch all. The only kind of surgery I couldn't watch then, can't watch now, is eyeball, you know, LASIK or any kind of eye surgery. That to me,
The bones tend to bug me. Like I watch the feet doctor and all that sort of stuff, and you know, you hear them.
yeah. So in oral surgery, that, I mean, you hear that all day long, and then then you also have to be careful of smells, because in oral surgery,
Oh my God.
yeah.
So even just the crater on my thigh, after she took the ice cream scoop of skin out, she cauterized it. Oh my God, the smell! It's awful.
Yes.
They had masks on. I did not.
Yeah. None of that stuff. Yeah, none of that stuff bothered me. And I actually did, when I worked for the surgeon, I did administrative work. But back in the day, you could hold chin during a surgery. So you could actually, so surgery chairs have like a metal plate in the back where we could put patients to sleep. So it would hold your neck back, so you didn't have to stick a tube down your throat, and you could actually put them to sleep, and it would keep your airway open. But you would have to have somebody hold their chin and their face in place, make sure they're like not getting too doped up and, you know, curl over on the right or the left. So somebody would hold chin. So if you held chin, you got to see the entire surgery, and for me, it was amazing. It was so cool.
What kind of
I'm
surgery
glad
was that?
for people
Like
like you, though.
removing molars, removing all teeth. We used to remove all teeth for dentures. We did biopsies. We had cancer patients. He would actually go into surgery at the hospital and do like, somebody was in an accident, and they would take like a big toe joint and stick it in the mouth joint to replace the joint that was injured. You'd peel back faces, like all your skin, do surgery, and then, you know, big, huge.
Yeah, that I don't know.
surgeries.
That those might be a little bit too much for me.
Thank God for people that can do
that. Yeah.
We
And
need
they
you.
were so
Oh my
good.
gosh, because I could never in a million years.
Yeah. It was really the best.
Wow.
I mean, I love my job now, but as you're becoming a young adult and, you know, figuring out life, it was a really good job to have. It was one of my favorite jobs. So
We should talk about like
Jobs.
because I have lots of stories about
I
that.
bet. So
We could talk about, okay, I won't say anything. First job, whatever. Okay, whole nother episode. Well, let's see.
That's awesome. That was fun. That was a good
kinda-
story.
I know we learned.
I learned a
what's cool is
lot.
we're learning things about one another.
know.
Yeah.
and all the things. Sometimes it takes a while. I mean, I was thinking about it the last week when you and I both knew that our times were coming up. You kind of have to revisit memories you haven't, you know, remembered or haven't gone back to in a long time. So
I should have went through a bunch of old photo albums before I did mine. I think I did.
I think you two need to get your DNA done.
I know.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's do
yes.
it.
We
Okay.
will do that.
We
We'll do it this summer.
We're related to Sophie. I don't know who we might find out. Maybe we'll find out we're related to somebody super famous. Maybe.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
Sophie. No.
You'll be one of my 3,000 closest relatives.
I feel like between Italians, I mean, there are definitely like these larger family groups. When you were talking about your family and what you used to do, my dad's side of the family, while we did that stuff like camping and stuff, we were very integrated in each other's lives. All my cousins here, they're kind of like the brothers I never had. We're all super close. We're close to this day. And I just wouldn't give up any of those memories for anything.
I love that. I forgot to talk about my cousins. Shoot. Sorry if you guys are listening. Shit. Mike and
To
Michelle.
be continued.
And Julie. and- oh my God. Okay. So anyway, whole another aspect of playing with the cousins when I was young. But as life went on, we kind of
Yeah.
drifted apart, so I
Yeah.
really don't, nothing ever happened. There was no falling out. I just don't really keep in touch with
Sometimes
my
it's hard.
family. Yeah, and it's terrible.
I think because my parents' parents got married young, then my parents got young, we all grew up together, and that was super helpful. Like my second cousin is the same age as my regular cousin. So my dad's cousin is the same age as my first cousin. And so having all that grown up, my cousin Michelle, which I'm sure you'll meet because I know she wants to come. She lives locally. She actually lived with us when we lived in Tualatin. We had actually a ton of people live with us.
Whoa.
So we have lots of people lived with my family. All of us girls learned early on that my parents, my parents live with my sister, so now they lock the door. But my parents had an open door policy. Matter of fact, if the door was locked, something was wrong. And all kinds of people, my friends, after we graduated from high school, would just walk in. I wouldn't be home. My sisters wouldn't be home. They would just walk into my parents' house because my parents always had this open door policy. And we always had a good portion of several years. We always had people living with us, friends, cousins. My parents' best friends lived with us. Another friend lived with us. So we're all very integrated
the thing
community.
that's good about that is you really learn how to meander socially or get, like with other people and learn how to deal with all kinds of different personalities.
Some people, I think,
and
get stressed with that type of
I-
scenario,
yeah,
those
I-
kind of scenarios.
I would.
Oh, yeah.
But I
Well, yeah.
But one thing I like, the positive spin on it, I was thinking that, Sophie, as she was telling me, I was thinking, oh my God, I don't know. But then again, I think if you learn it young,
Yes,
it makes it seem more normal. And then when you get older, it's not so hard, to be in various different social situations.
Oh, it's true because we started out young. We've all lived back at home before. But
after you left home,
yeah,
you went
after
back
I left
home, yeah.
and moved back home, and even my parents in the last 10 years, they've been in houses where they rented rooms out, and so when the kids and I lived with my parents, 7 years ago, they had one or two people living with them at the time, so that was just part of our family dynamic. My parents are very community orientated, so. Yeah. And that makes people feel like they're at home away from home, or a home if they didn't have a home. So,
well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice family.
Aww.
So sweet.
So
that was a good
that's
fun.
me in a nutshell.
I love it. Oh my gosh, thank you. This was really fun, you guys, getting to know everybody.
Yeah.
Well, as they say, until
Adios.
next time.
Adios.
Until next time. Adios.
Sayonara.
Au revoir. French, whatever. Oh my
Jimmy
gosh.
Dean.
Okay, thanks for listening, you guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Toodaloo. Bye.
Bye.
All right, well, that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. We really appreciate you listening to us, and we look forward to hanging out with you next Wednesday. Please join us. And in the meantime, please follow us on Instagram at The Real Exes Portland. Also, we would love to hear from you and hear some of your juicy stories. You can email us your stories at rxop.yourstory@gmail.com. Until next week, bye.